I fell in love. I fell in love hard. I fell in love hard for the first time in my life, the summer before my senior year in college. I was working at a day camp in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Really? Okay. This crowd loves me. And I was a counselor for 7-year-old boys. And she was the dance counselor. Her name was Sue. She had blue eyes, blonde hair. She was gorgeous and intimidated the shit out of me. So the dance theater where she would teach the girls was down by the lake. And right near there was the boating and fishing area. So my 7-year-old boys spent that summer at the lake. They were bass masters by the end of the summer. I mean, they rowboats were the best of them. But I was very intimidated by her. She actually ultimately had to make the first move and ask me out just because I just didn't think that she would be interested. So we had our first date at Valley Forge Park. We did a picnic on the area where they used to do the model airplanes. They would fly the planes out there, right? And it was beautiful. And we kissed. And, you know, I had kissed girls before, you know, really, I had. That's so hard to believe. But when the chemistry is right and you kiss someone and it just, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It's just like God saying you just should be kissing this person for the rest of your life. And, I mean, I fell hard, but I wasn't ready to tell her this. I mean, I was just new at this whole thing. And one night we went out to dinner at a very nice restaurant, the Cafe Victor here in Philadelphia. If you guys know it, they have a...
Yeah, South Philly.
Yeah, that's right. This guy is great. All the waiters and waitresses are opera singers. And during the dinner, she actually told me that she loved me. And I told her the same. But it wasn't perfect. There were some issues. A big one was that she had a boyfriend. A boyfriend back at school. See, and I was not at that school. But everything was just going so great. I mean, I'd never, felt this way for anybody. But she was honest. I mean, she told me, this guy back at school, I don't know what I'm going to do at the end of the summer, but let's just keep going with this. And I did. I mean, I leaned into it, and I had an amazing time with her for the 2 months we were together. But as towards the end of the summer, the anxiety started to build, and I didn't know what she was going to do. But ultimately, she made her decision. She decided she was going back to school. She would go back to that guy, and she broke up with me. And your first heartbreak is something. I mean, for me, I was so into this. The pain was so intense. And I kind of leaned into that too, because I just didn't know I had this in me. I mean, this emotion, this unbelievable sorrow. And I mean, I made myself physically ill. It was pretty pathetic, but I just couldn't help it. It was just unbelievable. And that was it. I mean, we lost touch for a while. And, I moved on with my life. I fell in love with someone else. I got married, had 3 kids, had a life. And let's see, about 10 years ago, more or less, through the power of Facebook, I found Sue and I connected with her. And, a little cordial, hi, how you doing? And, I kind of creeped a little bit. I checked out her life. Oh, yeah, you've never done that. Bullshit. Please. And, she looked like she had a really nice life going on there. And as did I. I mean, if you saw my Facebook page, you would thought everything was great. And it wasn't. Life was hard. Marriage was rough. And ultimately, it ended for me. And then I got this Facebook message about 3-4 months ago. Hey, stranger, how you doing? I was just listening to Tupelo Honey, and it made me think of you. And I was like, oh. I sent like a bunch of immediate excited messages back at her. And we started chatting, and then we started talking. And then we decided to meet for lunch. Like a couple of friends, just meeting for lunch. And I saw her come into the Honey Grove, somewhere in King of Prussia, and I gave her a hug. And people talk about like smell memory, you know, like you smell something and it brings you back. There is love memory. I cannot even begin to tell you. You hug someone that you've loved once, and it's just like, it was weird, and I didn't want to react in front of her. So ultimately, we had a nice lunch, and I learned some things about her, that her life on Facebook was not what it was. And her marriage challenges were very similar to mine. And she had 2 boys and a girl, just like me. And she told me something I didn't know. So after we broke up, she called the landline, right, not a cell phone, to the house. And she spoke to my mom. And she's like, "Can I talk to Eric?" And she's like, "Stay the fuck away from my son. He's sick because of you." That was my mom. I didn't know she did that. I was like, "Oh, that was really sweet of her." But you know, we started. It's amazing. It was like 28 years from when we broke up to when we got back together. So 28 years, 6 kids, 3 broken hearts, and now we are impossibly in love. Thank you.